All right, welcome on in. Faribault Coaches Show. Paul Shea in for Gordy Kosfeld, who's up at State Boys Basketball. He has the Hayfield Boys Championship basketball game coming up at 11 today. So once this show ends, we're going to do a little bit of music, and then we're going to head out to Gordy Kosfeld, who's out at Williams Arena. He's in the barn today for State Boys basketball coverage. I'm being joined by 4 of the 5 wrestlers from Faribault who made it into state, I should say Faribault BA for wrestling there. And we're just going to kind of go down the line and talk with the guys a little bit about their experience this year, what state was like. And for those unfamiliar with like wrestling and state at the XL Energy Center, it is like a whole nother environment. You've got sections, which is pretty cool. That's usually in Rochester. And there's a lot of parents and some friends there. But once you get to the X, it takes it to a whole nother level. And we'll go into all that in just a little bit here. So we'll talk a little bit with the guys. We've got JT Housen, Isaac Getzer, Aiden Tobin, and Gabe Schatzkeek. There we go. All right. So I will work on that. I've been calling a couple of matches this year. We're going to start off with Gabe. He's a junior. Gabe, you went to state, 220 pounds. Tell us a little bit about your year, okay?
It's been kind of a jump between weight. So I've been wrestling anywhere from 95 to heavyweight, spending most of my time at 95 and 220. That's been fun.
What led you, or was it a coach's decision to be at 220 this year when you got into sections? Was that a weight you felt more comfortable with? Was 95 maybe a little too tough on you? What was that decision like?
220 is just kind of where I've been wrestling most of my high school career so far. It's been 220, so I'm just more comfortable there. I was only 95 to cover up a hole because someone got injured.
Last year you were at, was it 180?
I was 187 wrestling 195 and 220.
Okay. You're a junior this year. This was your first state entrant to wrestling. Junior year, that's pretty cool. So you got another year left. What has it been like now that the season is ended? Are you working with Coach on next year? Are you doing some spring sports? And then what do you hope to do next year in terms of leadership, because you're going to step up and be senior?
Right now I'm kind of just spending a lot of my time in the gym and, trying to get to 220 physically so I can wrestle as high as possible. And as far as spring sports go, I'm not doing track or anything, but I'll do football and stuff.
What position?
Lineman, and then I think I'm just going to say lineman.
Okay. Is wrestling your favorite, or do you like football? Okay.
Wrestling's my main sport.
Any plans right now for potential college visits, or you have a college in mind where you want to go?
Not yet.
Not yet? That's cool, man. That's cool. We'll get more into Gabe in just a little bit. Move on over to the senior, Aiden Tobin here. Aiden, congratulations, 152 pounds this year. Was this the first year that you qualified for state, or were you at state last year?
This is the first year I've qualified for state. The past couple of years have been rough got quarantined as a junior, injured as a sophomore, so it's good to finally break that barrier and get to state.
And I was looking up online, not to be like weird or anything like that, but you've been with Faribault Wrestling since you were in kindergarten. You were in varsity since 7th grade, so you've had several years of being on the varsity lineup. What has your time been like with the program, being that you are, a senior here?
I don't know. There's just no family like the wrestling team. Like, you see all the older guys graduate, but and the new guys come in, but we're still the same super close family. Like, there's no atmosphere like it. Everybody's helping everybody else succeed, and it's gonna be tough to leave these guys next year.
Macho Man Randy Savage famously quoted as saying, "The cream always rises to the top." This was a really good year for Faribault Wrestling. You guys having 5 guys advance, I think in the 4 years since I've been in Faribault covering different sports, I think the most was like 4. So, this was pretty big to get 5 guys qualified for it. What did that mean as a team? And this goes to everyone here. What did that mean for a team? Did that really get you guys amped, knowing that you had 5 guys going?
Yeah, for sure, especially watching those championship matches at sections. Just JT just demolishing his way through this tournament, and then Bo right after him getting it done in the championship, and then Isaac, and then it was just so much fun to watch all these guys take it home in the section tournament, and that proved to us that like all of our hard work was paying off.
Anyone else from the guys here on what it meant or what it felt like to have 5 guys go to state?
I think it felt pretty good for building off. Like I went last year, I wanted more guys to come this year, so now we got 5 this year. So hopefully we can build off that and go as a team.
That's great. Yeah, and you guys were close as a team. Let's be honest. I mean, you guys were seeded, I think 5 maybe when it came to team sections, and it was tough for you guys. You guys had to go on the road. It was at Mayo. You beat, I can't remember who you beat right away, but then you had to go up against Mayo. It was like the 2 seed, I think. And from there, I mean, you beat Mayo at home. And then you moved to Rochester, and you basically faced, the crosstown rival right up the road, Northfield. And that would mean top to bottom, really good team, Northfield, right? I mean, they had a bunch of 11 kids go, I think, to state individually. But I mean, you guys hung with them a little bit. So is that motivation for next year?
Yeah, it definitely lets us know that we're in the top. And we're able to, as long as we keep getting better, we're able to make it to there next year as a team. So
that's fantastic. That was Isaac. Isaac, talk a little bit about your year, 145 pounds, sophomore, right?
Yep. It was kind of a shocker to me, but I had been putting in a lot of hard work, and my goal was to make it out of that second tournament, and I'd been wanting to for a couple of years, and then this year it finally happened, and just to get to the X was kind of surreal, and then wrestling was just another brick on top. This year was I had a really good year, but I felt like I didn't test myself a whole lot, but at the same time it was a really fun year, especially with all these other guys.
Were you at 45 all year?
I wrestled in between 138 and 145, and then at the end of the year I kind of just decided to stick with 145 based on where I wanted to go and what I felt comfortable with. So,
well, that's awesome. So, as being a sophomore, what does this mean for you? How many years have you been with the program?
I've been wrestling since I was in 2nd grade. Wow. So I've been wrestling with these guys basically forever. These guys are like my second family, and so it's kind of going to be weird that I only have 2 years left.
Well, and Coach was saying they're trying to fix that, right? So, just kidding, if anyone's listening from the State High School League. But no, that's awesome. So you made it. I want to say, and this goes for everyone here, I wrestled, youth 1 year in college, and then the whole student-athlete thing came in, right? And you had to be good at grades, and I was not good at grades. So that was it for me. The seeding, like you guys had some really tough seeding when you guys got into state with where you guys were matched up in your brackets, and we'll go through that here in just a moment. But, you think about what season you guys had, really tough opponents. I mean, you guys really ramped up the schedule as the year went on, which I think really helped out, and talked with Coach a little bit last week about how that was and how it went into it. So that's fantastic. Isaac, you planning to stay at 45 next year, or are you going to hit the gym and give Gabe a run for his money?
If anything, I'll go up to 152. I don't really know where.
Fill a hole here?
Yeah, I guess. I want to get a little bit bigger, but not too much.
All right, cool. JT, man, congratulations. 3rd place finish this year at state, and you did it sitting at 120 pounds. Walk me through that portion of the tournament, because I mean you really kind of climbed and clawed your way up there to get to that 3rd place finish.
Yeah, first round I had a guy from Bemidji, I believe, and he was a pretty tough guy. I didn't really know who he was coming into it, but it was a tough match. Came out on top like 10-5, I think. And then next round I had Jacob Aho, I believe. Wasn't that who I had?
Forest Lake, yep.
Yep, I had him 2nd round. I lost to him last year, 1st round in the state tournament. He's a tough guy. And then I came back at the end of the match to win that one. Mm-hmm. And then next match after that, in the semis, I had Alan Kohler, I believe.
Fire Lake, yeah.
Yep. That was a rough match, tough guy. I got teched and then came back in the consolation bracket. I wrestled Sullivan Inez from Wilmer, right? And then, yeah, it was a tough match with him. I came back at the end of that one, come out on top, and then I faced Jacob Howell for 3rd again there. And then came back on... It was an overtime match, actually, and then I took him down for the win.
Really, I mean, your journey was one that I think could have said about anyone here at this table, just being able to claw and scrape their way back. Because, I mean, I don't know how track wrestling does it. If it was all a track wrestling piece or not, but some of those draws was tough. I mean, like where Gabe was, for instance. I mean, Gabe faced some pretty tough competition right there at the state tournament. I think he went into it where, you get that win right away. I think you're facing the number one guy there. What was going through your mind at state when you got out on the mat there for that first match?
I was trying to just take it one match at a time. So my first match, I was trying to, win that one so I can move on, and I wasn't thinking about the second match too much. But unfortunately, I wasn't good enough to beat that first guy at all.
That's not true. Don't say that.
But it didn't go in my favor for me there, and we couldn't get past him.
What do you take away from that? I mean, like you said, it was your first time at state, right? What did you take away from that match? Did it plant a seed? Where are you going to go from there?
It was definitely, it showed me that I could get there, and I just need to get better so I can, get further in that tournament. It was a stepping stone rather than a wall.
Exactly. Well, like I said, never put someone down like that, right? When you say, I wasn't good enough, that's not true, right? I mean, one move, one way, right? I mean, the match goes completely different. So, I'm proud of all you guys for making it to state, so great job there. Aiden, your match at state, did you get a Stillwater guy right away?
Yep.
And he had a really long last name, if I remember right. It was like 15 letters.
Yeah.
And I got to see Shakopee wrestle a little bit before against Northfield. Walk me through that match. I mean, that one, kind of heartbreaking. I had a good seat. I was able to watch it. You were on mat number 2, so I was able to kind of check that out.
Yep, that's Stillwater match right away. Like Gabe said, I was just trying to get that first win. The way that tournament's set up, that first win's very important. Huge. To keep wrestling. And I had wrestled this kid earlier in the year. I think I majored him. So I knew knew his strengths, knew his weaknesses, but he came out knowing mine also. So just trying to come out on top. Was able to come out, I think I won the match 6-4. Mm-hmm. So that was, and under those super bright lights, that was surreal. So much fun.
Being a senior, was it? You guys got up there a day early. You were telling me, right? Able to kind of check out the team competition, and that's awesome. Coach was able to get you guys up there and see that. Walk me through that. You walk out of the tunnel, right? They call your name. You kind of walk out of the tunnel. You head out to the mat. What's that like?
There's nothing. You can't even compare it to anything else. There's nothing else like it. Everybody talks about the bright lights, and they're like, some people actually get psyched out by how bright the lights are, but you gotta stay focused, and it's just like a scene out of a movie. You get tunnel vision, and your name gets called, your cheering section starts going nuts, and yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. Isaac, let's talk a little bit about your match at state. Like I said, I think against some really tough draws. So let's talk a little bit. Walk me through what was going on in your match.
Yeah, I ended up getting I believe he was the 6th seed, and I wasn't seeded very high. And I knew, prior the week before, who I was going to wrestle and stuff, so I was kind of preparing myself for that. And I knew he's a really good, lengthy wrestler, really liked his outside shots. And so I was trying to prepare myself for that, trying to get my shots worked in and stuff like that. And when it came time to the match, I felt like I hung on with him really good, but in the end it came out to his favor. So,
do you guys like basically, if you win that first match, right? You're guaranteed another match, but if you lose, right, the guy that beats you has to win. Do you guys like that setup? Before I get to coach on this at all?
No, because then if you lose, then it's all in the hands of that guy. And especially if he's going up a guy that is also really good, then it's pretty nerve-wracking. So you never know if you're going to wrestle again if you lose. So,
Coach, your thought? That's how it's been for a long time.
Yeah, it has been that way for a while, and I know that's something that's brought up every year from the Minnesota Wrestling Coaches Association. We talk about adding that extra round in there so we can have a true wrestle back. but it just hasn't been able to pass or from the state high school league. So it's tough. It really makes that first round really important, and we kind of emphasize that in leading up to the state tournament. At the same time, you don't want to put so much pressure on your kids, like you have to go out and wrestle that match, and if you don't wrestle well, it's over. So it's a fine line in how you prepare your kids for that first round. But I don't know. I don't. The struggle with that current policy or that current format is that nobody else in the state is doing it either. One of the arguments from the state high school league is tennis right now. Tennis is set up that you could win your first match, lose your second one, and you're done. So it's really hard to change something for one sport and not the other. So if this is something that's going to change, I think it has to change for a lot of people. And when you start looking at that, that's a whole other day for wrestling. That's a big check to the Excel Energy Center, and I think that's partly what they might be looking at too. So.
Coach, I've talked to the guys a little bit here. We're going to get more into just, season and what's coming up for them, especially Aiden. We want to talk a little bit about what's next for college and all that. For you had a pretty big year. You were inducted into the Hall of Fame when it comes to wrestling there from your collegiate career. But as a team here, I was telling these guys, Macho Man Randy Savage, cream always rises to the top, and the cream is rising with Faribault Wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. We've had some really strong years here. After last season, when I think we were like 23 or 24 and 1 or 2 or something like that, and the year before that we were 20. Same thing, 22 and 2 or whatever. But both of those years we got knocked out in the first round, and this is after back-to-back championship seasons where we were in the championship to go to the state. So it was like we stepped back as a coaching staff and thought, what do we have to do here, because something's not working. And we've always had this philosophy of 25, 50, 25% of our matches, no question, we're going to go in, we're going to win. 25% on paper, we shouldn't have a shot, and then 50% should be just great matches. And we changed that this year. I think if you look at the top 10 ranked teams, I think we wrestled 8 of them. We really beefed up our schedule because we wanted to face adversity. We didn't want to go into the section tournament 22-1, never have adversity, and then our first adversity be the one thing that kicks us out of a tournament. So we got beat up this year, and that's okay. We learned from that, and our kids went into the tournament 15-12 and found themselves in the section championship. And quite honestly, I think you take some injury out of the mix, and we have a couple different guys in our lineup. Because if we're going into 160 pounds against Northfield, and that's a 2-point match.
Yes, it is.
It's a 2-point match, but unfortunately, we had Gabe and we had Matt up top that were our anchors, and we had three weight classes that we didn't really have a veteran wrestler in there because of injury, and that hurt a little bit. So, the message to our kids is, we did exactly what we wanted to do. We put ourselves in position to be successful and go to the state tournament. And unfortunately, we had some injury along the way. And that's not going to be our excuse, but that was the reality of it. And I'm super excited for this group next year because I think they're going to be front runners. We're going to have four returning state guys back. Earlier I joked about Aiden, but I think we can really figure out a way to get him back again. But I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about this group of guys and what we're going to be doing in the off season. Coaches, we met yesterday and we started putting together our off season workouts, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's a great group to follow, and I'm guessing. These guys talked about family setting and culture and what they mean to each other, and you can see that when you go in the room. These guys are tight, and they're it's not a me before we. It is definitely an us culture, and that's exciting to be part of.
It's great. Really do appreciate that and those thoughts, Coach. Show of hands, guys. This is awful radio by showing hands. Youth program. You guys all been in the Faribault youth program for a while now? Yep. kindergarten, second grade. Gabe, when did you get your shot?
I started around 4th or 5th grade, but then I had a couple years off, whether it's for just I missed sign up, didn't want to do it, whatever. I had a rough start in middle school, but I think I got 3 years of middle school wrestling before high school, which I've been wrestling since then.
Awesome. JT?
I started when I was like 3 years old, I believe.
Oh!
Yeah, like preschool, I think.
That's great.
Yeah. Like the Little Falcons program that we do at the schools every year.
So that kind of leads me in here to Coach Armbruster. When you've got a feeder program like that, you got the Green Machines, you've got Little Falcons, you've got those other programs. Having 4 guys, it would have been great, more, right? And 5 guys technically, right? But, having those guys go, and it really sets what you said, that family culture, that feeling of culture, because these guys have known each other since, kindergarten, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade.
Oh, absolutely. I recall going and watching these guys when they were in the Green Machine program down in Rochester in the tournament. We have some very dedicated, committed youth coaches. Coach Babcock has been part of our Green Machine. These guys have known Coach Babcock much longer than they've known me, and he's somebody that is still working with them today up in the high school room. Now we have individuals like Tyler Jakes, and of course everyone knows Coach Bruce, and he's been part of our program for a long time. So, and these guys are there, and they're the messages that they'll send me, like the messages I get from Coach Bruce, like, oh man, it was so fun to watch the guys last night, and that tournament reminded me of this time when we were at this tournament when they were kids, and and I think that's one thing that we do really, really well is we are not high school, middle school youth. We are Faribault Wrestling, and we are all one program. You'll see these guys at our Little Falcons practice. I know there was times when Coach Brad couldn't make practice or Coach Tyler couldn't make practice, and they would send a message, hey, anybody able to help out with youth tonight? And all of these guys that are sitting at this table right now, like, I can be there. And I think it's important to give back. But there's just no hesitation. It's like, yep, I can be there, to where we have to say, all right, we don't need all of you. We just need a couple of you to be here tonight. So, and those little guys remember that. These guys probably remember, those juniors and seniors that were coming to Little Falcon practices and helping them, and that's, I just think that's what makes athletics in general so fantastic. I know when we look at professional athletes as high school seniors and juniors, or even as an adult, it's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. But these guys are understanding that these 5, 6, 7-year-olds, to them, these 4 that are sitting at this table right now, they're as big as it gets. That's big time. That's Aiden Tobin walking into our gym right now. Holy cow, Mom, did you see that? That's really cool stuff. We have a youth night, and these kids are lining up with posters and having our kids sign. That's neat stuff. It's really cool.
Testament to the program. I got a guy from Bashers coming, I think, a little bit here to talk what's going on. I just want to touch on the senior here, Aiden, plans for next year.
Don't say it.
Besides come back dressed for coach.
I'm going to major in engineering and play baseball. Armbruster's not too happy with the college selection. I'm going to Wartburg College in Iowa. Okay. Big rival of Coach Armbruster, so he's definitely joked with me about that since I made my decision.
Do you get to come back to the room if you go?
Oh, I'd love to have him back then.
I don't know if I want to come back. Yeah, I'll definitely try and come back. It's so nice as a as a high school wrestler, having the alums come back and push you every day. So I had the luxury of having Becker, who was an alum, come start coaching this year, and he was my practice partner for a lot of the time, and I think that's a big reason of why I made my jump.
It's fantastic. I want to say thanks to you guys. I know you guys were all out spring break last week, so thanks a lot. School starts on Monday?
Yeah, back on Monday.
Back on Monday, so back to reality. Enjoy the rest of your school year. Aiden, congratulations to you. And you guys have a good one. Looking forward to seeing all of you next year. Hoping to call more state individuals, and we'll call maybe some Falcon team state matches too. So appreciate all you guys a lot. All right. So thanks a lot for stopping by today, guys. Coach, thank you. The Coaches Show brought to you by G&H Property Management, Lonsdale Country Market in Lonsdale, and Basher's Faribault Center here in Faribault. It was spring break this week. We stopped by for lunch early on. They had some great specials available, and I think we're going to get a guy here from Basher's momentarily to talk about more specials this week. And when it comes to those specials, I know we got volleyball happening right now. By the way, speaking of wrestling, this guy's a huge professional wrestling fan. He was out at the Faribault Legion.
Oh, yes.
What's up, man? Tell us a little bit about what's going on at Basher's.
Well, Basher's, we got a lot of things going on, especially with summer coming up. We're going to be doing bowling specials Monday nights, 7 to 10, unlimited bowling for $15. And then Thursday nights, 6 to 9, $2 games, $2 shoes. So that's a pretty good deal if you guys want to come out after kids are done with school, or, come start practicing, warming up, get ready for leagues that are coming up this summer as well. Summer leagues, we're going to have a Tuesday no-tip league. That's knock 9 pins down, counts as a single strike. And then Wednesdays we'll have sport shot leagues. Harder oil patterns pro bowlers use, so kind of like what the professionals do. And then we have a big Brothers and Big Sisters bowling tournament. This sponsors Big Brothers, Big Sisters here in Faribault. April 29th, 4 to 8. You can sign up down here at the center, or bigbrothersbigsisters.com in southeastern Minnesota. And that's about all the bowling things we got, except for we got a big congratulations to Don Clayton for his first 300 sanctioned game.
Saw that on social media.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's his first one sanctioned. He's had a few before, and he had a high score of 750. So we're pretty proud of him for that.
And then volleyball coming up?
Yeah, volleyball coming up. We're going to have sign-up deadline is April 18th. So make sure you come in and get your registration form. And then we'll have the managers meeting the week of April 25th. And that will be on the night that you play. So if you play Tuesday nights, come in Tuesday nights at 6:30. Play Wednesday nights 6:30 as well. And then we'll be starting May 2nd, hopefully, with the weather and everything works out pretty well for us. That'll be $400 for the leagues this year.
Okay.
We'll have men's leagues, women's leagues, co-ed leagues, co-ed 4, and family leagues. So if the kids want to get out on a Friday night during the summer and have a little fun, and that league, the family league, will be significantly cheaper at $100. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I know you're a wrestling fan. Trinity's got professional wrestling today. Are you going to get off in time?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'll be here till about 3. So
well, maybe get there. Bell's at 2. So.
Bell's at 2. Okay, maybe I might get there. So, yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Basher's Faribault Center is the place to be. Next week, Gordy Kosfeld will be back, though, at Basher's to wrap up the Coaches Show. And I think we're going to have more of a spring type of season as the following week. BA's got softball against Kenny Wanamingo. Faribault will have softball cranking it up as well. So it's always a good time. No more Coaches Show for the rest of the day today. We have State Boys Basketball coming up at 11 o'clock with Hayfield playing in the championship against BBE. Best of luck to all teams playing in the championships today on the Mighty 920. My name is Paul Shea. Have yourself a great rest of the day, and go Falcons.